Now, as we've heard, world leaders have gathered in Antalya, Turkey for the G20 Summit. They're due to discuss a number of issues, including economic growth and climate change. But in the wake of the Paris attacks, no subject looms larger than security and the crisis in Syria. Let's go now to Jon Brain, who's live for us in Antalya. Jon, world leaders have finally arrived, but there's only one subject that's truly on the agenda.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they will still discuss those issues you've mentioned, such as the global economy, climate change. Much of the preparatory work for those subjects had been done well before this summit started. But as you rightly say, it will be dominated by one issue, and that is the attacks in Paris. Now, this summit was always going to have in the background Syria. President Erdogan of Turkey, who incidentally is meeting President Obama as we speak, has said he wants this to be a global crisis resolution summit. So they were already looking at ways of tackling the crisis in Syria and the resulting refugee situation. Because of the Paris attacks, and that now has greater urgency, and all the world leaders, certainly in their bilateral meetings, will be concentrating on that issue, how to respond to what's happened in Paris and how to move forward with the Syrian situation as a whole.
And Jon, is there any sense that the tragedy in Paris could prompt world leaders to really try and get some concrete decisions made at this G20?
Well, look, it's very unusual to have all the senior world leaders physically in one place at a time of world crisis. So you could say the timing, in a sense, is quite fortuitous. So yes, there is a sense that this will concentrate the minds and that they will work harder to get a unified, a concerted approach, because what's been happening, there have been numerous meetings, as we know, over recent weeks and months between various foreign ministers, various prime ministers and presidents about tackling, for example, the refugee crisis without any agreement whatsoever. Now, it's just hoped by sources here that the fact that this horrific attack has happened will make people realize the urgency of the situation, that they can't just continue talking, they actually have to come up with a concrete plan of action.
Jon Brain for us live there in Antalya. Thank you very much for that. And of course, we'll come back to you throughout the day for the latest.